I keep it simple, yeah, that's the plan. Everything I want, I got it now. Hit the studio, cook up a jam.
Ooh, Gets, you trying to kill
My
him,
girl
huh?
be laughing every time I do my dance. I keep it simple, yeah, that's the plan. Everything I want, I got it now. Hit the studio, cook up a jam. My girl be laughing every time I do my dance. Don't get offended, cause I let you play. Don't think I'm special, cause we are the same. I don't wanna be in touch with you, I can rub it in your face. I don't wanna raise my shoulders and do myself to the face, cause he just a waste. So I'd rather be doing me, I'd rather be spreading the love, cause we need the more of it. Yeah, everybody just be acting tough, but they don't want none of it. I just like it, keep it simple, so you can find me out there with the trees. Say hi to the roots, say hello to the branch. I wanna thank you for the oxygen that you give it to me. I know we ungrateful, cause we burning you down. But you just keep on giving to us, but we don't deserve it. I keep it simple, yeah, that's the plan. Everything I want, I got it now. Hit the studio, cook up a jam. My girl be laughing every time I do my dance. I keep it simple, yeah, that's the plan, that's the plan. Everything I want, I got it now, yeah, I got it now. Hit the studio, cook up a jam.
Here I am in what feels like heaven. Behind me is the Ottawa River, and I've paddled for some 58 days to get here from Halifax, Nova Scotia. The first 55 days have not been easy. I can honestly say that I've been fearful practically every morning, not knowing what the day is going to bring. The coast of Nova Scotia was just wild, and crossing some bays, which were, one bay was 14 kilometers and another bay was 26 kilometers. Those crossings weren't easy. And then when I rounded the Gaspé Peninsula and started the whole trip up the St. Lawrence all the way to Montreal, that was scary. I'm actually a pro at reading tide charts, assimilating weather apps, and wow, the wind, tides, and also currents have been a major factor. It wasn't until day 56 that I actually had my first day of just fantastic kayaking without any fears whatsoever. So now, through friends of a friend, you get by with a little help from your friends. A friend in Vancouver called Christina, her best friend in childhood, Aileen, lives on the banks of the Ottawa River, and here I'm going to spend the next 2 days with Chuck, her husband, and her, and just reload, recharge, and get ready for the next passage. Definitely reaching Montreal was the great divide. And is the worst over? That's a good question. But I feel now that I can actually move ahead with less drama and trauma. But I do understand that, wow, I've got to make it to Chicago before the end of September. And basically summer is over. It went by like lightning for me. And in Canada and North America, the northern states, it gets cold pretty quickly. So I got to keep on moving, basically, and take one day at a time.
My girl be laughing every time I do my dance. I be going my way. my penis. I don't care for a name. I ain't searching for greatness, cause he overrated.
Well, day 50. I left the marina beside the Quebec bridge at 4:30, 2 hours after low tide started to go to high tide, and made it rather effortlessly through. But I'm happy. I'm heading forward. I've got around 3 hours of paddling before darkness settles in, so I'm gonna make a go for it. Otherwise, great time in Lévis. I left behind some good friends, and hopefully we'll see each other someday. I paddled 25 kilometers along the northern shores of the St. Lawrence to a place called Neuville. And I came in a bit late into the marina, and the first person I met was a guy called Louis, and he worked there at the marina and let me put my tent up on the lawn outside the front. And then the next day I was able to do some work, and until the low tide was finished, so I could paddle further. I met a wonderful girl called Laura, and yeah, it was just a fun day. The next day, I started at low tide, which is basically around I think it's around 4 o'clock, and I had a long way to go to reach Portneuf. And from Quebec City to Montreal, you are just paddling upstream, and that means uphill. No matter if there's a tide going in or coming your way, there's still currents, and you don't make the time that you think you're going to make. Anyways, I made it to Portneuf, and around the kilometer before the marina, I just hit some type of riptide or something, and it took just about an hour just to go 1 kilometer, and I was tired. As I paddled into the marina, a guy in a boat looks at me as I paddle. He says, "Are you hungry?" And I says, "I'm starved." He says, "Well, come to the boat." So I got docked at the marina and paid a little fee to dock my kayak there, and went to see this man and his wife and his son. And to make a long story short, they give me some supper, and then he says, you don't need to sleep in your tent. Why don't you just sleep here? So I put the sleeping bag, in the aft part of the vessel, and I had a great night rest. And then in the morning he got up and he made me breakfast. So thanks Robert, Michelina, and Jeremy for a great evening. The economic system is a mess. Everybody busy trying to make a buck. I'd rather be chilling on the night lounge, stuck in meditation like a monk. I'll keep it simple, yeah. I left Portneuf 2 hours after low tide. There's a place called the Rapids, and you really have to hit that one particular spot at the right time, or you're going to get your kayak thrown up against rocks. And I was through that, and I went to a place called Grandine and stopped there for lunch. And then I just paddled as far as I could, and I made it to a place called I'm not sure what it's called, but I call it Ile de Large. And there I pulled up, and I asked a man his name is Mike. I asked him, "Is it okay if I rest here for a while?" And he said, "Oh yeah, no problem." And anyways, I ended up spending the evening there with Mike, Lily, and Mia, and we had a great vegetarian meal. And they let me tent on the grass in front of the cottage. And what a beautiful place! The St. Lawrence is just majestic. Tremendous, fabulous sunsets. I don't think I've ever been in a place where they've had so much glorious sunsets in my life. Rather impressive.
I don't wanna get unconscious. It's really painful that we lost another brother. Think it's something we should learn from. The economic system is a mess. Everybody busy trying to make a buck. I'd rather be chilling on the night lounge, stuck in meditation like a monk. I keep it simple, yeah. That's a plan, that's a plan. Everything I want, I got it now, I got it now. Hit the studio, cook up a jam, My girl be laughing every time I air my dance. I do my dance. I keep it simple, yeah. That's a plan, that's a plan. Everything I want, I got it now, I got it now. Hit the studio, cook up a jam, My girl be laughing every time I air my dance. I do my dance.
Day 53, I paddled 53 kilometers. I left Mike and Lily at 7 o'clock in the morning while they're still tucked in their bed, and I paddled against current the whole way to Trois-Rivières, 3 rivers. On the way, I passed 150 kayakers, came to say hi and to clap, and they wished me good luck, and they're all there just to see me, off, and they say, well done, Mark, you've done a great job, you're paddling 10,500 kilometers. 150 of them showed up to wish me the best. Well, that's a lie. The 150 kayakers were on a challenge from Montreal, paddling from Montreal to Quebec to raise money for a good charity. So that's the truth. Right after that, I started paddling towards a place called Champlain, and there was a little cement wall, and on the other side of the wall was the grass, and a lady was sitting there called Yose, and I talked to her, and she said, well, would you like some coffee? And I said, yeah, I would love some coffee. It's good to get the digestive processes working when you have coffee. So she went in and got the coffee and came with a cold bottle of water. We talked a bit more, and she says, would you like an ice cream? Yeah, I would love an ice cream. So you'll say that was good, my ice cream lady. I wish I had more ice cream ladies along the way. After that, approaching Trois-Rivières, so a guy and his wife, Carl and Isabella, they met me kayaking. The first people to meet me on my journey, and they're lovely people, and I'm thankful for them. Great! And they had come from the south side of the St. Lawrence over to me, and wow, what a nice surprise. They were in a tandem kayak, and we were heading against headwind plus currents, and just a while before I reached the 3 rivers, they departed to the left, and I kept on going. And I stopped for a short little break, and right after the break, I started to paddle again and hit some major currents, and then I heard this, Mark, and I looked to my right, and there was another guy calling to me from shore, so I paddled to shore, and it was Johan, and he's been following me, and he traveled, drove like an hour just to say hi, and unfortunately, I was really short of time because I wanted to make it through Trois-Rivières and that night, which I did not accomplish due to the fact that the current was so powerful. So paddlers, if you're in that area, choose the south side of the St. Lawrence because there's less currents, it's shallower, and it's much easier to get by. And but it was a good day. On day 54, I was up at 6 o'clock and had a lot of energy and paddled the currents and got through the bridge and made my way up the north shore. Well, what a slog. That means a hard go ahead, or a hard slog. What does that mean? Just when it gets tough. The bridge is behind me. Wow, it's been a day just totally against current, and now there's no current that I can see or recognize. I'm actually moving a bit forward, and I'm only less than a kilometer from the bridge. Isn't that gorgeous? Unbelievable. And I'm heading towards that point out there, and then I'm going to enter a big lake and make my way on the north side to the archipelago of the lake. That'll be great. Looking forward to the day. I wanted to do the north side because it was a bit more scenic, and I would go out by a provincial park, but I texted Eddie and my friend Frederick, and they said no, it's better to take the south side. So I changed direction and took the south side, which sorry guys, but I kind of regret it. I ended up paddling some 38 kilometers without getting out of my kayak due to the massive amounts of reeds that were, probably 5 meters tall and half in the water and half out, and they stretched at least 1,000 meters from land. So I didn't get out of my kayak until I reached a place called Ile de Fort, where I pitched my tent for the evening. Good day, and I slept well on the side of a beautiful river, and I like that. On day 55, I again started early. And a couple hours later, a nice guy called Jean-Francois, he joined me for a day of paddling. And it wasn't the best day for him because there's a tremendous amount of waves that came behind us, and they were big. We were just going all over the place, trying to make it. But anyways, we paddled some 46 kilometers to a place called Court de Coeur. And to end the day, he invited me to eat some burgers at a restaurant, and then we said goodbye. And I paddled a bit further up the river to find a nice camping spot. You want to find peace of mind? Try nature. Try camping. Try kayak. Day 56 was an emotional day and an exhausting day. I left the campsite at Court de Coeur at around 6 o'clock in the morning, paddled around 5 kilometers, and I paddled 30 meters from land. The weather conditions were okay, and I saw a body on the beach. and I had to pull the kayak over, and I phoned 911, which put me in contact with the police. And they came and they took care of the situation, and I had to spend some time writing out a declaration. It was a cold feeling to see a person who had lost their life, and it was a sad feeling to see that people suffer. And even though the pictures, we're always smiling in pictures, sometimes behind the smiles there's a story. And we all have our stories, we all have our challenges. And it's always important to let what's behind you, let it stay there. Think about today, think about what's going to happen tomorrow, and let go of the past. There's always a story behind everyone you meet, behind everyone you see. Anyways, I paddled all the way into a marina which was across from the island of St. Helen, which was a site for Expo 1967, the last time I was in the city. And there I had to make a decision. Am I going to paddle to the old port, or how am I going to get there? I think I made one of the best decisions yet on this trip. I decided, because I've been warned that the currents are 6 knots, 7 knots, they're ferocious. And I think I'm strong, I can do this. But I decided that I'd take a small ferry, which is a 10-minute ride from the marina to the old port. And when the ferry came in at 5:30 in the evening, I talked to Captain Jean Rivard, and I asked him, was it possible to put my kayak on the ferry at 6:30? And he said, yes, no problem. And he said, what are you doing? And I sent him the information of my project on my website to his telephone. And he came back at 6:30, and we loaded the kayak up, and with the passengers, and we right to the old port. And then he helped me move my kayak to another wharf where I could, put it into the water. Later, the next morning, I opened my telephone, and Jean Rivard had sent me $100. Well, what an encouragement that was, just to know that people are supporting you. What a nice guy. Anyways, that evening, I put my tent up in the old port, and I had a bit of dinner with 2 random nice people, and I spent the night there, looking forward to the next day. I paddled 37 kilometers on day 57, and it was one of the best paddling days in all the 56 days that I've paddled. I met Jacques and Claire at the Lachine Canal, and that was a beautiful introduction to a beautiful canal by 2 beautiful people. They were so nice, and that day started so good. And I paddled the 14 kilometers through the canal, and then I entered I think it's called Lake Louis. And I paddled past Dorval, the airport area, Beaconsville, I believe it's called, Point Claire. I paddled all the way to Saint-Anne-de-Bellevue. And there I found a small little park. I've never camped in a public park before. But I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, Park Pesca or Park something. Yeah. Put all my stuff in the kayak, put some nicer clothes on, and I went and ate a big dinner with calamari and a big burger and an IPA. It was a good day. Day 58 was a big day. I paddled 60 kilometers. Before I started, I took 2 Advil just to give me the extra strength. I left Saint-Anne-du-Bellevue and paddled some 16 kilometers. I was tired. I saw a sailboat and I went up to the sailboat and started talking. And they said, "You want a coffee?" I said, "Yep, I want a coffee." And I tied my kayak up behind the sailboat and had a good 45 minutes with Claude and Christine. They gave me coffee and I was able to eat some of my salmon and some small chips. Left them and I paddled all the way to the Korean boat lock. I'm very happy that I can avoid those rapids over there. Okay, I've paddled from Saint-Anne-du-Bellevue around 40 kilometers, and now I'm going to try and go through this lock. I've with my VHF, I contacted them and said, "I'm coming and do you want to take me?" And they said, "Yes, we do. And thank you so much for having a VHF," they said. It's one of the deepest or tallest locks in the whole of Canada. And wow, what an experience going through that. But the best part of the experience was meeting 2 young people called Sabrina and Bailey. So are you guys with me the whole way now when it goes up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. What a energetic, nice kids. And it's so cool. You know, I'm 64 and I'm talking to people who are 18 and 22, and there's smiles on their face and they're engaged. I felt really privileged. And I told them, they said, "You make YouTube movies?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just trying to embarrass my children." And they laughed, and but it's cool just to touch different generations. It doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you're approachable. There's something to learn. Nice young people. Heading out of the lock, I made my way all the way to number 71 Corian Crescent. And there, that was my destination for the day. And there I knew that Chuck and Aileen would be waiting for me, and I made it. And I lost my sunglasses, like I say, 3 days ago. And I was really sunburned. I feel my eyes were sunburned. But it was so great just to get here, and they gave me some pizza, and I felt at home right away. No, it's great. Making a brunch special. And what do you call this drink?
A Virgin Caesar.
A Virgin Caesar, like myself.
There you go.
Fantastic with safe haven. You feel comfortable. And it's good to have that refuge. It really is good. So here I am with Aileen and Chuck, and that's as far as I've come so far. I'll leave in another day, 2 days, and I'll get onto the Rideau Canal and hopefully make my way to Chicago. Chicago is around 1,600 kilometers from here. So that means if I average 40 kilometers per day, I can make it in 40 days. I'm not that far behind my schedule, but it seems a bit difficult. So and it's gonna get cold, but at least the mosquitoes aren't alive when it gets colder. I'm hoping.